Well, it was storming at my house when I walked out the door. As my wife sent me off to work, well, I heard the thunder roar. Lightning flashed and a cold, cold stare chilled me to the bone. And every time she storms that way, it ain't safe to go back home. So I need a change in weather. I
Ooh, this is
sell
gonna
my
be in the
blue
Friday
boat.
mood. Angela, who
Where
is
the
this?
neon shines
Well,
at the bar,
Bryn,
they call
this
the
is
coast.
Bryan Kennedy. He's a singer-songwriter and a longtime actual tour manager for Garth Brooks.
Okay, cool.
Cool,
That is
right?
awesome.
And I mean, just what a beautiful voice, such a talent. And guess what, friends? He is coming to Columbus at the end of this month for a benefit concert for the Heather Pick Music Program at the James. I
Fun.
know.
Well, here he is. Hey there.
Hey, Bryan, good to see you.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, great
that-
to see you guys.
That song had us
We were
just
moving and grooving.
Moving and grooving. That was so great.
Sweet. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for making the time for us. We're so glad that you're going to be coming to Columbus later this month. But let's first talk about this because you were Garth Brooks's personal road manager for quite some time. But you first met him, back in 1988? Can you tell us about this?
Yeah.
1988, I went to the Bluebird Cafe. Forgive my faux studio here. I didn't realize
You look good. You look good.
what was going on. So I went to the Bluebird Cafe. Some of your viewers may be familiar with that.
Taylor
It's
Swift.
a singer-songwriter venue. And yeah, a lot of people have been discovered at the Bluebird in Nashville. And I went there because I was working for my dad, and we were looking for songs for Mel McDaniel and Mo Bandy. And this particular night, they had 5 writers that were going to do 3 songs apiece that were never recorded. So if one of those songs would be something for Mel or Mo, I was going to take it back to my dad and go, I found this song. And then this guy gets up and says, here's a guy that sings a pretty good song. And he had on a Stetson hat or a resistol. Back in Nashville, you couldn't get a Wrangler jeans anywhere. He had on Wrangler jeans. You couldn't buy them in Tennessee. He had ropers. He had his Wrangler jeans were starched, and he had a brush popper shirt on, and that's what I wore. And I thought, who is this guy? But anyway, he gets up and he sings, "If Tomorrow Never Comes, Not Counting You, and which one of them will you be you tonight?" And it just blew me away. I was like, I don't know who this guy is, but
Let's go.
But he's
I want to
good.
meet him. So I went and shook his hand, and we started up a relationship then, and have been working together ever since.
So you were his personal road manager starting in 2014 all the way to 2025. What was that like? I'm sure you have some of the best stories.
Well, I opened the shows for him in 98 and 99. I was opening act. So I went from being on stage to when he retired around 2000, he called me up and said, "Hey, I'm going back out." And we went riding out on his 4-wheeler on his place. And he said, "I want you to go with me." And I said, "Well, okay." But I had no idea what he wanted me to do. And it didn't matter. Garth's like that. Everybody on his staff tour needs to be able to fill in for whoever and whatever needs to get done.
Sure.
So it was an experience like none other. I mean, he's such a great guy and so easy to work with. He never asked you to do anything he wouldn't do himself. It's just the experiences from. It's really fun to go from his farm in Tennessee to like the White House and, all these stadium tours, dive bar tours, arena tours.
You've seen it all.
Yeah, it's something, I don't think you realize is going on when it's happening.
Sure.
You're just kind of going through the motions and doing your gig and making sure you do it right.
Bryan, you helped Garth Brooks co-write many of his hit songs, The Beaches of Cheyenne, American Honky Tonk Bar Association. I mean, these are songs that people know by heart. And so to be part of that, when you hear it on the radio as a singer-songwriter, I mean, that's got to bring you some joy and just some yeah, I did that kind of a feeling.
Well, it's not so much I did that, but I remember, all my years driving my pickup truck, in college, even out of college when I had jobs that I really maybe didn't want to do so much. I was worked on a farm for a long time, hard jobs. That when a song came on the radio that I loved, how it changed my day. I remember a buddy in Dallas going through a divorce. We're riding down the highway in Dallas, and he's crying. And then all of a sudden, this George Strait song comes on. It's a swing song, and he just stops crying and turns it up and goes, "I love this song." And I can't believe I've gotten to be a part of that for somebody somewhere. In fact, about 30 minutes ago, a friend of mine from Colorado texted me a screenshot of his dashboard, and it said American Honky Tonk Bar Association, and he just said thanks.
That's awesome.
That never gets old. It never
Yeah.
gets old, and I'm so blessed and so humbled just to have any part of that. It's really sweet.
So you're coming to Ohio for the Heather Pick music program. You're putting on a concert. Why Ohio? Why this group?
Well, my buddy Mark Viscarich, I met years ago, and we ended up doing a few shows in Ohio. Went on the Buckeye Cruise, and did that, and I love Ohio. I love the people in Ohio. I was really scared when somebody said just go out there and say OH, and then all of a sudden, I got the rest
Oh,
of that. Yeah, yeah, and so that when you have that kind of family, and whatever that bond is, especially when it's a good one. I played college football. I played at Ole Miss. We never played Ohio State. Probably thankfully back then we
did
really
you ever
got.
play at Alabama?
Yeah, played there a couple
Nice.
times.
Roll Tide.
There you go. Yeah, it was never a good experience for me, so I'm sure it was for them. But just Ohio is such a cool place, and all the gigs that I did up there, I just love meeting people, and I'm looking forward to coming back. And of course, the Heather Pick music program is awesome.
Well, we can't wait to meet you, but more importantly, we can't wait to hear some of the songs that you're going to play. Do you have a guitar by you by chance that you want to pick up real quick? Because we're letting people know you can still get tickets to the Heather Pick music program. The Bryan Kennedy singer and songwriter is happening June 24th at Natalie's at Grandview on King Avenue. But I gave you some oh, he does have a guitar.
Yes! Woohoo!
Yeah, I'm trying to find a pick around here. Maybe I don't have one, but
You
I'll
don't need
be right
one.
there. All right,
Let's
let's see. So this is the first song Garth recorded, American Honky Tonk Bar Association, and this song came from hanging out in a place in Nashville where we would all go dance on Friday. I'm sorry, Thursday, and we skip Friday. You got to rest and then go back on Saturday, and and
Yeah.
and so all the guys in there with like one big family, and we would hang out, and you didn't mess with anybody in there, because if you mess with one, you mess with all of us. So if you were a stranger in there, you were a friend until you weren't, and then you didn't last very long. But
All
what
right.
was cool about this place was I knew Moose, Dumpster, Poot, Rope a Doggy, Stir Fry, Fish. Everybody had a nickname. And so for 2 or 3 years, I'm going to this place, and all my buddies are there, and so I go over to get my truck worked on at Moose's house. And so there's Dumpster, Stir Fry, and all these guys. And then I said, "How much do I owe you for this, Moose?" And he said, "It's like $80." And so I got my checkbook out, and I was like, "Moose, what's your name?"
I only know you as
I didn't
Moose.
know. Yeah, nobody knew anybody's name. So it was awesome. But that group of people had no group.
All
Everybody
right.
had their acronym. And so me and Jim Rushing got together, and I said, we got to come up with a group for these people. So the first two lines of this kind of describe exactly who this group is. If your paycheck depends on the weather and the clock, if your conversation calls for a little more than a coffee pot, if you need to pour your heart out and try to rectify some situation that you're facing, contact your American Honky Tonk Bar Association. Represents the hard hat, gun rack, aching back over tax flag, waving fun loving crowd. And their heart is in the music, and they love to play it loud. There's no forms or no complications, there's no red tape administrations. It's the American Honky Tonk Bar
Sing it, Bren.
Association. Woohoo! All righty.
Contact today. The AHBA.
Oh,
Oh
Bryan
my
Kennedy,
gosh.
thank you so much.
so much. That was
You're
wonderful.
welcome.
I'm going to have to come to Natalie's to see
Thank
you
you.
now.
Yeah,
Bryan,
come on. I would love to meet you. Love to meet you. Thank
Awesome.
you.
All right, Bryan, thank you so
thank
much.
you.